Hey guys, so welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. So in this episode, we have another very special tarot card reading, and this is for T. And T would like to know, well, this is kind of a cool question. So T is kind of in a turbulent relationship with her mother. She lives with her mother right now currently, but she's wanting to know if she moves out in October, if her current job and her current situation will allow her to maintain renting a place on her own and being able to live in this new environment and stuff like that, so that it can reduce the friction and stuff at home, while at the same time allowing her to be able to take care of her needs and everything. So let's kind of find that out. Okay, T, so let's find out if this is going to be a positive move for you or not. So the first, okay. Guys like a little monk humor here? I'm just messing with you guys actually today. So guys, as most of you guys know, I'm a monk, and so I cringe sometimes when I have to give people bad news, but it's part of my service that I have to be honest with people as well. So I'm not always able to give the news that people necessarily want to hear. Even so, when I do have to deliver bad news, just like anyone would have to deliver bad news, I try to do it somewhat diplomatically, or at least in a nice way, or at least in a helpful way where I can give people kind of like a redirection or kind of help them understand things, from a different perspective and maybe shed some light on things. And intuitively, there's normally like, okay, so like with the future and all, it sometimes goes like this. Here we are going along life, and then there's some kind of interesting thing that happens, activity and stuff, and things are great and everything's going good. And then there's that collapse of positivity and stuff, and things are going not so good. And then we go along again, and then something new happens, and we go back up here. We're back on cloud 9 again, and then this situation starts to decline a little bit, and it's just like this constant up and down. Well, when you go up and down and up and down and up and down, you get to a point finally where you're just like, is this what life is really all about? And it's very depressing. You can fall into a place of depression, and you don't know necessarily if this is a good place to be at or not. Kind of like, what's the point of things? We question things, and we may even become stale. We may become stale to our situations. Like, we might just give up on love, give up on our situation ever getting good, or, like, it just seems like every time something good happens, then something comes to ruin it, right? And so often we have these kind of life experiences that happen in this kind of way. So because of that, when I'm doing tarot card readings and I'm intuiting things, I can oftentimes get past the good, bad, and indifference, like the slow period of time. Like, sometimes people are looking for love and they've just been on this path of just going along like this, so that nothing's really coming to the reality. Well, I can kind of sometimes find, like, I can sense sometimes like when things are starting to move it forward or into a positive direction. On the other hand, I'm also sometimes, like, depending on a person's situation and what kind of tarot card reading they're wanting, that sometimes it can come down to here, and maybe I'm getting them on the decline where things are not going so good, and they're wanting to know if it's going to get better, but they're just kind of in the middle of that downward decline. And so they haven't gotten to the full effect of it yet. So sometimes giving people that news, like, it's going to be a little bit, but then I know, like, kind of where the bottom is on that. And I can even kind of get to where I know that they're going to actually start to have a better situation moving forward and what that might look like. And I can get that intuitively. I get that a lot. It's just the energy that comes across to me. So because of that, if I do have to give somebody some negative news, or some less than ideal news is a better, more positive way of putting it, I can sometimes give them sort of like the time frame. So that's kind of helpful to people, and it's kind of useful to where their situation will start to improve again. So even though they may not be getting necessarily what they want in the here and now, which can be a little disconcerting, I can also kind of more or less kind of give them this timeline of like, okay, but this is what I'm also picking up, that, things are going to start to improve over here about this time. So, and I try, if I have that information, if it comes to me, I try to give people that as well, as a way of keeping things pretty positive, or at least helpful. Helpful is really the best way I like to do things here. So what do we got with this situation and all, as far as this moving out, this apartment situation? Well, as a monk, sometimes I like to joke around a little bit. So that's when I did that. And so it sounds pretty bad, right? Actually, this is not a bad situation or a bad move at all for you. So the first card that we got is small victory. So what happens when you decide to move out and everything like that here in October? You get a small victory. So when we say small victory, it's like it's a positive move. So what does that say? It's a yes. This is a good move for you. This would be good for you. It'd be good for the mother. Good for the whole situation. Not a bad deal. What's the next card that we got? It's the sun. The sun in the deck is always the best card. So it's like it's full transparency. Everything comes out. Everything comes to light. No matter what other cards come into the entire reading, the sun, spreads light on all of it and makes everything even better. So even if you get a bad card or a bad reading, if you get the sun in your reading, it's like it's going to make that negativity a lot less pronounced as what it would be otherwise. So in this particular case, it's a definite yes. This is definitely a right move for you. And then finally, the last card that we have in all is the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is sort of like, in this particular case, we have the 8 cups. 8 cups are about kind of like material relationships. In other words, the kind of relationships where sometimes we're relying on other people for help, for our material sustenance, for our existence and that. And this is kind of about going more independent away from that. So it's more about you taking care of your own needs instead of maybe having to have somebody else help you out or being in a situation with that. We have the sun moon in this, which is sort of like, and so it's about independence and it's about stability. When we have the 8 in anything, it's really that numerological number of, it's kind of like a Capricorn number of like groundedness, abundance. It's really that kind of zodiac sign, kind of that Capricorn zodiac sign, where it's about stability and moving things forward and trying to get up on our feet, trying to put ourselves in a good situation. So you're not going to have to worry too much about instability or anything with your situation. It's just going to be a positive move for you. It's going to help you be more independent, take care of your own needs better and stuff. And overall, it's going to be positive, very positive, very, very positive experience for you. So anyways, to answer your question, yeah, I definitely think you should do this. I think it's a positive move for you. And I'm actually picking that up pretty strongly, that you're going to be much happier and that others in your life will be much happier as well. And that at the conclusion of everything, it's going to be overall the best decision. So good luck on that. And guys, thanks for tuning into Indirect Knowledge and all. I hope that this tarot card reading maybe inspires you, or gives you a little bit more insight into the tarot and into I don't want to say psychicism, because that's probably not a word, but it's sort of like what the situation is. If we had to put an ism on it, it would be psychicism or intuitivism or however you want to define it. But it's sort of that, how do we get things intuitively? How do we pick up information, or how does this information just come? Like if we get a vision or something like that, where does it come from? Well, people have been debating that for years. Psychics have been debating that for years. Anti-psychics, people that don't even believe in psychics and stuff, have been debating that for years. I mean, people have come up with all sorts of ideas, philosophies, thoughts, opinions, you name it. And there's not a lot of usefulness in most of that. So I guess to put it into a useful context, it just is what it is. I give what I get, and I hope it helps. And so then finally, I guess the last bit of this is just don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with others if you want. If you guys want to help the monks, if you want to help my service, in other words, you can just go to helpbydonating.com. It would mean a lot to me personally, because I rely on donations in order to be able to do this. Also, if you need spiritual direction, or you need a tarot card reading or anything along those lines, you can reach out to me. I got the email address and the office number in the description below this video. You're more than welcome to reach out. And if you want a Bhagavad Gita, it's an ancient spiritual text, you can get a copy of that as well. So all the information and everything is in the description below this video. Please make sure you visit there. And I will see you guys on the next episode of In Direct Knowledge. Thanks for tuning in.